Junior was a lively 10-year-old, full of energy and curiosity. He loved football, devoured storybooks, and always had a bright grin on his face. But every afternoon when the school bus dropped him home at 3 p.m., that grin would fade. His parents, Mr. and Mrs. Aki, were always at their market shop, leaving him alone in a quiet, empty house. "I hate being home alone," Junior mumbled one evening. His mother sighed, brushing a hand over his head. "We know, sweetheart, but we have to work. It's for you." Junior nodded, but the loneliness sat heavy in his chest. One day, Mrs. Aki had an idea. "Junior, why don't you stay with Auntie Jennifer next door until we get home?" Auntie Jennifer was their friendly neighbor, always smiling, always offering little treats. Junior had seen her many times and figured, why not? At first it was fun. Auntie Jennifer's home smelled like warm cookies. She asked about his day, gave him food, and even bought him a brand new football. "You're like the little brother I never had," she said with a wink. Junior felt special, but then things started to change. One afternoon after he finished his homework, Auntie Jennifer sat beside him on the couch. "Junior," she whispered, "let's play a secret game. Just between us, okay?" Junior frowned. Something about her tone made his stomach twist. "I don't know." "Come on," she coaxed. "It'll be fun. And remember, don't tell anyone." That was the moment things stopped being fun. The game felt strange, wrong, uncomfortable. That night, he woke up to find his bed wet, a habit he had long outgrown, and it kept happening. At school, Junior's teacher, Mrs. Adabo, noticed something was off. His bright energy had dimmed. He barely smiled. He avoided eye contact. "Junior, is everything okay?" she asked gently. He shrugged. "I'm fine." But he wasn't. One afternoon, Mrs. Adabo sat with him alone. "You know," she said softly, "sometimes when something doesn't feel right, it helps to talk about it." Junior hesitated, his little fingers gripping the edge of his desk. His throat felt tight. But then, in a barely audible whisper, the words slipped out. "It's Auntie Jennifer. She makes me feel weird." Mrs. Adabo's face remained calm, but her eyes filled with concern. "You did the right thing telling me, Junior. And listen to me. This is not your fault." From that moment, everything changed. The school contacted his parents. Mr. and Mrs. Aki were devastated. "We should have known," his mother sobbed, pulling him into her arms. "We should have listened." His father clenched his fists, his jaw tight with anger. "She'll never hurt you again." The police were called. Junior was gently encouraged to share his story, and soon after, Auntie Jennifer was arrested. The friendly neighbor with the sweet smile had been hiding a dark secret. Junior's parents rearranged their work schedules. Someone was always home now. They got him a counselor, someone who helped him understand his feelings and, most importantly, helped him heal. Weeks passed, then months. Slowly, the nightmares faded. His bed stayed dry. His laughter returned. One day, he approached Mrs. Adabo. "Thank you for believing me," he said, his voice steady. She smiled warmly. "You were brave, Junior, and you should never be afraid to speak up." Junior learned something that day. When something feels wrong, your voice is your greatest power. And there will always be someone who listens, someone who cares, someone who will help. And because of that, he knew he was never truly alone again.